Hello guys. So today we are going to read the first chapter of the book The Drama Queen, written by Ashna Khan. The Drama Queen is a woman-centric novel, and the story revolves around the female protagonist named Shreya, who gets married to a high-end celebrity named Ranvijay, but she is not happy with her married life. So she takes the decision of separating from him, which obviously hurts the pride of Ranvijay. Now the story is Ranvijay is trying to pin down Shreya, trying to make her suffer. Ranvijay is trying to make sure that Shreya doesn't succeed in life. So this is the story of the struggle of a woman who wants to live a free life on her own principles. So I'm going to read the first chapter today, and then you can decide what you should do. So let us start. Chapter 1. There is no title to the chapter. It is just chapter 1. He loved you once upon a time. He is your husband. He is the father of your child. Gives you everything that you need. What will you do without him? How will you survive in this world without his name? Shreya's mind kept giving her reasons one after the other, like an invisible spirit hovering over her head, chilling her nerves and fogging her brain. The anger which she felt towards Ranvijay was gnawing her from within. Shreya sat in front of the mirror, applying a concealer on her left cheek. An expert at makeup, she knew she would be able to cover it up with makeup. But what about the bruises that had scarred her heart forever? Will that be covered? No. It will get deeper and darker with time. It will never heal. Yet, her mind was busy giving 1,000 reasons to calm down before the interview. Shreya had an interview. Not as Shreya, but Mrs. Ranvijay Rawat. She was expected to idealize her husband so much so that every woman of the nation would feel jealous of her and would dream of a husband like him. She was ready for the interview. She was ready to put up a show once again. She was ready to be the doe-eyed wife who was madly in love with her husband. But something stopped her. It was the voice of her heart. It quietly whispered into her ears like a gentle breeze that touches the skin on a balmy summer day. Don't give in, Shreya. Be what you truly are. The mind and the nagging mistress started reasoning again. She quietened her mind. She knew what she had to do. The palatial bungalow needed no decoration or cleaning, as it was always dolled up like a newlywed bride. It was continuously in the process of being given a facelift throughout the year, as if it was some aging woman who desperately needed touch-ups to hide the flaws and the imperfections of her face. The house was always in perfect condition, so there was no need to pep it up further when they came for the interview that fateful day. Fateful day, because there are days which decide the course of our lives, and this one was one of them. They came and sat down in a very sophisticated way and spoke in a polished manner. Everything about the interviewing team seemed well-groomed yet so fake. Shreya knew they were not there to know what she felt. They already knew what they wanted to hear. They already knew the words, the sound of each syllable, even the emotions to go with it. They just wanted to hear those from Shreya's mouth. She had had enough of this fake world. She was well aware that if she kept living this lie, she would not be able to distinguish her face from the masks which she put up daily. Shreya was thinking about the day when Ranvijay came into her life, clearly wishing that day could be undone. He was the reigning superstar of Bollywood and she was a debutant, merely one film old. Her first film was a super hit. The whole nation went crazy about the new girl in the industry. She had achieved that after a lot of struggle in modeling. And then Ranvijay came with starry dreams, had everyone head over heels. Before she could shake the starry glitter or recover from the blinding light of his persona, he had proposed her marriage. As Shreya sat in her room, she drifted into thoughts, vividly recollecting how things unfolded on that day. She could hear herself. I remember nothing of that day, except for the tap in the veranda, which was leaking. I'm from a middle-class family, you know. We lived in a very tiny flat in Mumbai. I can remember vividly how drop by drop, the unending, perennial river inside it was emptying itself. I remember the incomprehensible urge to tightly twist its knob and stop the drops from falling on the ground. It seemed strange. Shreya sat thinking while everything was being arranged. Strange because the course of my destiny was being decided in those very moments, like the farmers who gather at the mouth of a canal and decide which way the water should flow. No one asks the free-flowing water which direction it wants to take. The parched skin of the ground is peeled away to cut its ties from the cradle which lay in the river. It is made to flow within boundaries in a straight line. And so it does. It flows to reach the callous land which drinks it up as if it was his birthright to do so. Then they reached the final decision, the gleaming faces exuding the fact that there was satisfaction in what they had decided. They looked at me and said, "You are a really lucky girl. We could never have imagined such a thing to happen to us." "We feel blessed, Shreya," someone from the crowd said. "Your stars are at their zenith. Congratulations." I looked up with a bitter taste in my mouth. Unmoving, unfeeling, unnerved. Shreya remembered every detail of that day even today. She continued with a faraway look in her eyes. Her inner voice continued. "Gradually, my small flat began to smell of flowers like it does in a garden in the spring season. It wasn't spring season and the flowers had been butchered from their plants and made to hang at the door, on the wall, and my desk. They hung there deprived of sunlight, deprived of water, losing freshness with each passing second, bit by bit. They somehow reminded me of the dripping tap that day. Drop by drop and bit by bit, all that had been with me was fading into oblivion. Like the freshness of the flowers, the lines in her palms were fading slowly, very slowly, but fading. Surely, I could almost feel the moisture from the flowers sipping into the air for some reason. Again and again, I could feel the moisture collecting in my eyes, hindering my vision, clouding my thoughts, seeping into my mind and shrouding my thoughts. Then they pulled me down to sit, made me stretch my palm, and aware of the futility of the lines of my palms, began to scribble with henna cones. And in those patterns of henna design, I could feel that my new destiny was being scribbled, as if there was a dire need to replace the fading line and there was a dire need to write a new destiny for me. Things were shown to me as a presentation, like a slideshow, one by one, like I was some disintegrated customer who was being pushed into buying things which I didn't even need. Then, one of them slowly opened the envelope and held the card straight in front of my eyes. He was all smiling. The card read in sophisticated yet bold prints, "Ranvijay weds Shreya." Everything about the card was screaming sophistication, too loud despite being subtle. Again, I could see a smile on each face. I started in disbelief. The smell of the decaying flowers was getting too much to bear. On that day and the days that followed, I spoke nothing, felt nothing, and understood nothing. Only one thought kept entering my mind again and again. I should have closed it, dripping tap tightly that day. I should have closed it tightly, very tightly. So this was the first chapter. I hope you liked it. Thank you.